Hello everyone, welcome back to our movie recaps. We're here to bring you the most exciting movie stories of all time. Hope you're all having a fantastic day. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, because one lucky subscriber could win a free scooter. Alright, no more waiting around, let's jump right into today's recaps.
Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Fighting for our home! Commence the attack! Kill them all!
This is a battle concerning the survival of humanity, with dozens of countries joining forces. All personnel are equipped with advanced exoskeleton mechs. What exactly led humanity to this point? Just 48 hours ago, a powerful alien civilization occupied the planet. Millions rushed to the battlefield, yet they couldn't withstand the onslaught of the insectoid race. Even humanity's bases fell completely. Now, a small team is tasked with rescuing trapped personnel and eliminating all the insects present. The plan was to rescue and then destroy the planet upon completion. However, upon landing, they were ambushed by the insects. Countless creatures charged at them, but they managed to repel them with advanced firepower. It was then they discovered faulty intelligence. The personnel needing rescue were in another corridor. The captain left some team members behind and led the rest forward. Meanwhile, the rescue ship Alicia began preparations to assist. To their surprise, as they rescued a gamer who stayed up late last night, wearing a red cap, he forcibly took control of the ship and abandoned the rescue team, fleeing with his own followers. By the way, if you enjoy our movie recaps, we're currently hosting a giveaway for our audience. We're excited to announce that a brand new scooter awaits one lucky subscriber. Don't miss out. Subscribe and follow us to stay tuned for more updates. As they stood in shock, the insects reappeared, this time in overwhelming numbers. Soon, team members were dying in the jaws of the insects. The only escape was aboard the Alicia spaceship. They formed a defensive triangle, but the insects had overrun the entire ship. Soon they were surrounded again. Teammates fell one by one, despair filling each heart. Suddenly, a sniper killed the insects with precision shots, angering them. The sniper began to flee as well. With the ship about to take off and the insects closing in, teammates fired to cover their escape. At the last moment, as the ship ascended, the sniper made a desperate leap and grabbed a teammate's hand. In that brief moment, 430 insects fell to her rifle. Finally, the rescue team completed their mission, detonating the planet as they departed. As they rejoiced in surviving the battle, the commander relayed a message: the escaped red-capped individual and the ship had lost all signals. They were tasked with investigating the truth, and alongside them was dispatched the legendary hero, Henry, who had previously been framed by the red-capped individual and imprisoned. Soon, they found the missing ship, but all attempts at communication, even using coded signals, yielded no response. This eerie situation prompted them to prepare for a forced landing, each person readying their final words, knowing this would be a fight for survival. When the ship connected with the passage, the valves opened, and upon entering, they were met with a horrifying sight. Limbs and bodies torn asunder, the crew mutilated by the insectoids. Deeper inside, they discovered the bodies of the insects themselves. This place, meant to imprison them, had seemingly become a dragon guarding against external threats. Suddenly, their instruments indicated the presence of a survivor, revealed to be the red-capped individual, now driven to madness, and adamantly against turning on the lights. Ignoring his warnings, the team restarted the ship's engines.
Don't be afraid of the dark.
As the ship illuminated, their nightmare began anew. The long-lost insectoids reappeared, causing more casualties. Facing the overwhelming tide of insects, they realized the ship had been thoroughly overrun. The battle turned increasingly dire as they were forced to retreat, with companions falling one by one. They had thought the valves closing would offer a temporary respite, but as they turned back, they were still faced with countless insectoids, thoroughly surrounded. Just as it seemed they were about to meet their demise, several bombs flew in, thrown by none other than the legendary hero, Henry. Under his leadership, the teammates began a pressured retreat. However, the sheer number of insectoids overwhelmed them. Their firepower was merely a drop in the ocean. At this moment, the captain sent out a distress signal to their ship, the Alicia. Upon receiving the message, the crew initiated a collective retreat. In the blink of an eye, half the team had sacrificed themselves. Finally, the Alicia arrived, just as everyone prepared to board. However, the ship's weapons, previously deactivated, suddenly activated, unleashing a barrage of firepower upon the Alicia, destroying it utterly. With faces ashen, they had no choice but to fight back once more. They made their way to the communication room, intending to send out a distress signal, only to find it futile. They couldn't comprehend why the unmanned ship suddenly opened fire. Henry remembered the red-capped individual's earlier warning. When they had found a queen insectoid, the red-capped individual had insisted on capturing it alive. Henry realized this was a fatal mistake, and didn't want his team to die in vain. So, he was framed and imprisoned. As a violent shaking ensued, the queen controlled the ship, initiating its activation once again. With their current numbers and equipment, they couldn't afford to return to the stealth chamber to kill the queen. Meanwhile, the queen, controlling the ship, prepared to traverse through the wormhole, but their ultimate goal remained unknown. The sniper began to remove their armor, preparing to crawl through the ducts to kill the queen alone. As the ship neared the wormhole, everyone on board prepared for what lay ahead. However, the queen struck first, ordering the insects to locate their whereabouts. As the ship passed through the wormhole, the base's commander immediately noticed their presence, receiving no response to their signals. They were on a collision course with the base, unaware that the people on the ship were fighting for their lives. Utilizing a Gatling gun, they fired inside the ship, forming Morse code to relay the message of the Queen's control over the vessel to the base's commander. Seeing the base's defense mechanisms activate, the Queen roared, commanding the ship to destroy all incoming vessels dispatched by the base. Powerless, everyone could only watch events unfold before them. As the ship approached the base for collision, the commander reluctantly ordered an attack, but it was too late to fire. The ship controlled by the Queen narrowly passed by the base, and through trajectory calculations, they discovered the Queen's true target, Earth. If they reached that point, humanity would face annihilation. Meanwhile, Henry and the remaining team members prepared for their final counterattack. Simultaneously, the Queen, controlling the ship, breached Earth's atmosphere, on a collision course with a city. On the other side, the sniper also spotted the Queen, setting up their rifle. With a shot, the Queen let out a scream, but it also exposed the sniper's position. Realizing she couldn't cause significant damage, she aimed at the Queen's practice and temporarily disrupted her control over the ship. Seizing the opportunity, the captain piloted the ship away from the city. However, moments later, the Queen regained control. Due to the sniper's continuous shots, position was completely exposed. When she attempted to escape through the ducts again, she was met with countless insectoids. Close-quarter combat deprived him of his advantage. Meanwhile, the ship crash-landed in a remote mountain area. As the situation spiraled out of control, the base prepared to launch a nuclear missile to destroy everything. The commander led his team to rescue the situation and defend Earth. However, as they revealed themselves, the Queen had already spotted them. The commander unleashed a barrage of small missiles, destroying the ship's anti-air defenses. Team members also began firing their weapons, joining the battle to defend Earth. The scene inside the ship remained one of desperate struggle. Suddenly, a new type of insectoid appeared. Its exoskeleton not only impervious to human bullets, but also capable of remote attacks. However, its vulnerability lay in the moment it fired its laser cannon. With their ammunition dwindling to just C4, Henry conceived a wild plan. Then, they spotted the sniper's body, oblivious to the insectoid above. When ambushed, the soldier picked up the beret belonging to his girlfriend and started kill. Knowing there was no way out, he chose to stay behind resolutely, granting the girlfriend's final wish. He valiantly sacrificed himself. Now the battle left only him and the team. Facing the overwhelming tide of insectoids, Henry began to fire wildly, then resorted to explosive attacks, showing no fear whatsoever. Suddenly, insectoids appeared behind them, but instead of attacking, they began to turn on each other. It turned out to be the result of Redcap's experiment. Putting aside their differences, the two men fought together, enduring numerous trials until they finally saw the Queen. Through manipulating the corpses of their fallen comrades, the Queen spoke, demanding Henry hand over Redcap in exchange for their freedom. His ability to control the insectoids made it clear this was an impossible demand. Without further negotiation, they engaged in combat. Henry unleashed full firepower, while Redcap controlled the insects to attack. However, against the new laser insectoids, they were powerless and quickly slaughtered. This was Redcap's final gambit, and if successful, it could have turned the tide of the battle. Henry made the tough decision to let him escape, choosing to hold off the enemy. As the agreed-upon 30 minutes approached, the nuclear missile began to launch. Meanwhile, on the captain's side, they faced a life-or-death situation. An explosion sounded, and the commander arrived in a mech, slicing the insectoids in half, successfully rescuing Redcap. The rescue ship also arrived at the battlefield, only to be shot down by the Queen-controlled ship. With the impending nuclear detonation, they braced for death. However, the ship's defense system activated, intercepting the nuclear missile with a laser cannon, buying them precious seconds. Accompanied by the Queen's roar, countless insectoids charged towards the ground. As humanity faced its end, Redcap remembered there was a lifeboat on the ship. His teammates revealed that the main engine was loaded with a large amount of C4 explosives, part of Henry's plan to destroy the ship and the Queen together. To prevent the sacrifice of the rescue team, Captain Johnny ventured alone to the engine room. Even if it meant sacrificing himself, he was determined to complete the team's unfinished mission. Upon reaching the main stealth chamber, he saw the legendary hero Henry still in battle, now with only one arm left. He was soon overwhelmed by the insect swarm and, upon learning that Redcap was safe, detonated the grenades, choosing to perish with the insectoids. Seeing the tragic death of the team's legendary hero, Captain Johnny decided to make a final stand. Evading the attacks of the laser insects, he unleashed full firepower, carving a path through the swarm. As he faced the Queen, he detonated his own mech, propelling himself towards her in a last-ditch effort. However, she was prepared, seizing him with her tentacles. As she prepared to deliver the final blow, Captain Johnny, in a desperate move, shed his last remaining armor, somersaulted towards her, and stabbed her in the eye with a dagger. This blow inflicted a fatal wound, finally breaking the ship free from the Queen's control. With the cover of his teammates, they safely reached the lifeboat. Once at a safe distance, they detonated the C4 explosives buried earlier. Thus, the Queen and countless insectoids were forever dispersed in the ensuing explosion, vanishing from the earth and sky. Thank you for watching.